Welcome back to my channel, and I'll be doing another video surrounding soccer, football, whatever you want to call it. I just call it soccer because I'm used to calling it that, but other people call it football. And sometimes I call it that just because I hear other people say it, or because I'm not talking to someone in specific. I'm just kind of talking about it to myself, or um or to people who more call it football, like this audience possibly. Okay, so hopefully I have this this in the format of YouTube at 16:9 it is that I'm screen recording. So uh hopefully you guys aren't seeing it kind of like a shorts form. Be I don't think that there's really anything wrong with that. I just prefer watching YouTube videos in the regular format, and I feel like most people like it as well. So in this scenario, hopefully you haven't read ahead, but this is if FIFA continued their plan and didn't back down. As you probably know, FIFA did back down in real life, but what if in this scenario they didn't? I am also assuming that Infantino manages to get reelected somehow, because this probably wouldn't happen otherwise. And this is where I go off the quote unquote script. So the way that I feel like Infantino would get reelected is if there was multiple choices to choose from in CONCACAF, UEFA, and the AFC, which is against Infantino's plan. Even though he did back down, they could be paranoid that he could try it again. They would probably vote for other candidates. And I'm not sure how it works, if it's kind of like the United States with political parties, basically, like the soccer football equivalent of it, where there's two main choices, then there's like other choices that are less popular, but some people choose. I don't know how it works. There could be multiple candidates that all get noticed, or maybe it's just two main ones, or maybe there's just two. But anyway, let's just say he somehow gets reelected. Like, I feel like most of the CAF teams would want him to get reelected, because if he does get reelected, there's a chance that he could be like, just kidding, I'm still doing this. Wait, no. In this scenario, he did do the plan still, where he would give the teams extra money for supporting him. So yeah, they would probably just be more supportive of him because it's confirmed that he's doing this. So they would be on board with the plan. Well, I feel like some teams from CONCACAF and the AFC might vote for him, because even though they have shown that they do not support his plan, some teams could just give in and want the extra money because they see that FIFA isn't backing down, and they just what's the word? they just see that UEFA's just leaving no matter what, so there's not really a consequence to getting extra money. Though I believe that'd be like the smaller teams, like the teams ranked 200th, like Guam, the U.S. Virgin Islands, the British Virgin Islands, teams like that. They could just see the possibility of extra money and see that they can build their team up. Though I'm not sure if those are really good examples, because the players could just choose to represent like the United States or the United Kingdom with the examples I've given. But maybe they could just find better mediocre players that aren't good enough to play for the teams. And that just leads me to wonder, which team could the British Virgin Islands, like the citizens of those, play for in the United Kingdom, since, as you guys would probably know, it's England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. So would they just be able to represent any of those teams? And also, how would it work for the teams inside the United Kingdom? Would like someone from London be able to represent Scotland or something? Or do you have to be born there or have heritage there from like the lines that separate them? Or like, is England basically the de facto United Kingdom where everyone can from the United Kingdom can play for there, but not vice versa? Though I've been rambling too much. Okay, so I believe that there's two scenarios that would happen if these order of events occurred. One, the less likely scenario. UEFA boycotts like they said they would, and FIFA notices how the quality of teams lower too much for people. They realize that a 32-team tournament would be better for the hosting situation, and just have Morocco host with the ceremony opening matches still be in South America. Now, I could see this happening if Infantino gives in to the pressure of the quality of teams lowering way too much, but let's be honest, Infantino probably wants some money. So, we go into 2, the more likely scenario. FIFA mostly doesn't care what people think and wants more money. FIFA goes with 48 teams, even though the quality would drop. I believe that they wouldn't go to 64 teams because the fans would be extremely mad and pressure FIFA to not expand it again. I'll first talk about the more likely one, 48 teams. Now, the reason I believe that this is more likely is because like I've just said, Infantino just wants more money, and they'd probably need more money to give to the teams that want the extra money, plus they have to give themselves money. So I think that's the more likely one. And sorry if my voice is just kind of trailing off, like it's going from loud to quiet. It's just because I'm not still and I don't have a microphone to speak into specifically, just my phone microphone. So there would be 16 free spots, and this is the one assuming it stays at 48 teams. CONCACAF, the original percent of teams at the World Cup compared to other confederations is 22.5, which equals 6. And we're not including the playoffs because the teams could just change. And plus, I'm counting the playoffs as a percentage of teams. So, you guys can read the rest. CONMEBOL, South America. The AFC is Asia. CAF is Africa. The LFC is Oceania. And UEFA is Europe, which is boycotting in the playoffs. And the reason that I put these here is just to kind of show you the percentage of teams before UEFA boycotts. I'm not exactly too sure why I just kind of put these here. And also, for these percentages, I rounded them down, even though they should have been rounded up, I think. So that the percentage can equal 100, because it just wouldn't make sense if it would equal 105 or 98.7. So the percentage removing UEFA, which is the percentage I'm going to base it off, is, well, you can read it. So the spots, according to the percentages, before rounding and before taking into account the amount of nations per confederation and the quality of adding new teams, would be this. And the spots, after taking into account the factors above, and also how I calculated this, was by taking the percentage and then doing something with the amount of teams. I forgot. I think I took the percentage after removing UEFA, and I can't remember actually. I think what did I do? Well, I guess I don't know. I know I did something that could equal these accurate numbers. So now the spots after taking into account the factors above. And you can read this about this percentage of teams in all confederations qualified, and the nations in the confederation, and the percentages are the same for the rest of the confederations. So CONCACAF would be 10. I rounded up because some other teams needed some spots removed, like the LC and the playoffs. And now it's CONMEBOL. You can read those, and there's no playoffs. I don't know why I capitalized that. Because the reason that they don't have playoffs is because of the amount of teams already qualifying, 80%. And, like, imagine having only one team miss out in the World Cup. It just kind of sounds unfair. So unless they unite with, like, CONCACAF, which is unlikely because of, like, imagine if the Bahamas had to pay for players going to Argentina. Like, the Bahamas aren't rich. Well, they might be, and but they wouldn't invest much into soccer because it doesn't give them much benefit, I don't think, because of how small their nation is anyway. The population isn't large, so it's kind of hard to find a lot of good players. And the difference between like them and Belgium is that Belgium has millions of people, while they only have hundreds of thousands, I think. So now CONMEBOL and like CAF would have their numbers reduced because of the host uh the host that the host already qualifies, so it's reduced to 5 for CONMEBOL, and then now I will show you the rest because you probably had time, and if you haven't, pause, rewind back to probably like 15:30. You could just pause it there. So the rest of these are self-explanatory. The first number is the percentage of teams in all of the confederations qualified, and the second number is the amount of nations in the confederation. And I feel like it's better to have the numbers be similar to each other, because that would make sense unless they just have a little bit of quality nations but not much quantity, or a lot of quantity but not a lot of quality. Which do you really want to see from like the OSC New Caledonia play? I mean, maybe, but but the World Cup is a prestigious tournament, a tournament where the best teams play, not Guam. I'm sorry to anyone who's watching from Guam, but like it's not gonna be cool to watch Guam get 21-0 by Brazil or Spain. That would just not be fun to watch. I mean, maybe it'd be cool to just watch a lot of goals get scored, but still, I don't think you'd want to see that, really. And for the reason that these, like, the OSC and playoffs are the same is because the OSC, like I've explained, is, just has one quality nation, and the rest are just not that good. In the playoffs, it's the playoffs. I'm not going to add more teams because 50% of the teams in the playoffs already qualify. So I'm not going to add more playoff spots. And I think that's the end of the video, because I haven't explained the 35 teams. In the next part, I plan on how I think the qualification stages would go and which teams would qualify, though I am not done with it, so I will show it to you guys when it is finished, sometime after it's finished, but I feel like I'm gonna need a few more weeks. Like I've said, horrible upload schedule. That's why I don't have one, because I just don't care to try and upload certain days. Though eventually I might, just to kind of be more of a proper channel, which I feel like the difference between a non-proper channel and like a proper one is that a proper channel has real captions. They're like sitting down in like a certain place, just talking about it, and just have editing coming in, but I just don't care to do that right now. I might eventually, just to kind of up the quality, but right now I'm not. But if I realize that it's required for my channel to be seen by more people, I'll do it, because I feel like the difference between channels is that, like, even if they're basically talking about the same topic, the difference is the like editing. That's what separates like 9 subscribers from 100,000, and how long they've been on YouTube as well. That's an important factor. Well, I think that's all I have to say, so may God bless you today and for the rest of your days, and goodbye.